Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. How come Hispanics can't make it to the future in video games, right? They can't make it to the year 2100. They can't make it to the year 2200. It doesn't matter. Go into the future. We're rarely in there. We're always a side character, right? We built everything, right? But we're never there in great numbers. We built everything. We worked in the factories. We made all the machines. Made all the rockets, made all the food, worked in the restaurants, did the pavement, did the concrete, did everything. The ruins are there, but we don't make it. And I'm using Sony specifically and PlayStation because, they're a bigger name and I'm trying to prove a bigger point here. In Horizon West Zero Dawn, whatever it's called, I was playing the game specifically because I had missed it. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4. Right? That's what I'm doing right now. That's what you hear in the background if you could hear it at all. And the girl is standing right there in front of a cactus plant with cactus fruit in it. That tells me automatically there is zero Hispanics and creative decision making in that game. There's fish, there's pigs, right? There's rabbits, and you got a cactus plant right there. That's a full meal for Hispanic. And it's not a consumable. You can consume other plants. You can use other plants. But you can't use the cactus. You know why? Because the people making the game don't know that cactus is edible. It's about culture. You can't take, Caucasian people, put lipstick on, put a dress on a man, have him dye his hair, or a woman, or, put, man's clothes on a woman, call it diverse, and have diversity in your game. Because it's cultural. If you're Hispanic, you know that the cactus fruit is delicious. You have to prepare it, but it's delicious. And you also know, specifically if you're Mexican, that you can eat the cactus. Let me tell you, if you haven't had beans, cactus, and pico de gallo on a tostada, maybe a little bit of chorizo on it, you haven't lived. Right? But you don't get that in the game. We didn't make it to the future. Our recipes didn't make it to the future. Why? Because there's fake diversity in the video game industry. There's a few groups that are always going to be there, right? You look at any studio, what do you have? You have a couple of Indians, you have a couple of Asians, a couple of black people, and the rest are white people. And most of them have colored hair and gauges and all this other stuff. You try to look for any Hispanic. Oh, she's the secretary. Oh, she works in accounting. Yeah, for sure you're going to find them in janitorial services, for sure. But you don't find them in the decision-making process. A lot of it has to do with their values that conflict with a lot of the values of these quote-unquote companies. Why? Let's just take a look at the largest population of Hispanics here in California. They're Mexican. Mexicans are mostly Catholic, like myself. Catholic values are not something that these people are cool with. They openly discriminate against Catholics. So how are you going to get a job there? But that robs you of the actual diversity you're looking for in the game because it's about culture. You need to be embedded in the culture in order to know that those things are there. But we never get a seat at the table. We're always pushed aside for somebody else. Right? Oh, well, this person, he pretends to be a dog. Now that's real diversity. Yeah. This other person over here, we would have hired you, right? You went to college, you paid tax, you did all that. No, we're going to put you in the email department because this person over here loves butt plugs. That's what you have going on in the video game industry now. It might be triggering for some of you, but somebody has to say it. Everybody, what are you waiting for? Sacred symbols to say it? Do you think any of the big podcasters are going to talk about it? No, they're not. They'll go the anti-woke play, but you know what? If you really want to fight, you don't like, the directions companies are going, why don't you start criticizing their hiring practices? The fact that anybody that is a traditional Hispanic person is not going to get hired at these companies. You have to go indie. You actually have to go and buy video games from those countries, because you're not going to get their points of view here in America. You're not. Unless they're left-leaning socialists, right? They love Che Guevara. You're not going to get them. You're not. And it's alienating a huge percentage of talent, of real talent out there, of Hispanic artists, of Hispanic creators, are people that are not getting the opportunity. For what? For somebody that just decided in one day that, hey, you know what? I don't like this kind of human anymore. I want this kind of human. You know what? I didn't make makeup before. I'm going to put it on now. Right? So now I'm a minority. I'm able to take your place. So at the end of the day, nothing's different. Nothing's different. It's the same people getting hired over and over again. It's a clique. It's not about diversity. It's about who you know. And anybody that claims to be, like any type of anti-woke person or whatever, they sacred symbols, right? How long has this thing been brewing on with, the changes in characters or whatever? Have they ever really sat down? I mean, Colin was right up there to criticize Smash JT for whatever. And let's just put that he was right, but he put his foot in his mouth now, right? But when have they ever done anything to address these issues? Him being a victim of this culture, he's over there kissing ass with these fuckers. Because if you don't get access, you're not going to get anywhere, right? So it's up to you, right? It's up to you, the public. When I make these videos, guys, this is why I get shadow banned. So please make sure you support, right? Because they are banning me to death. And you know what? I'm going to make a video about that, because YouTube has the biggest grift going on. They'll shut you up and then try to sell you access. It's a grift, let me tell you. But regardless, getting back to this point, guys. If you're Hispanic out there and you see these things going on, call it out. Stop saying, these people are not your allies. They're not your allies. If they take your job, how are they your allies? And never in the history of my life have I ever considered somebody who is keeping me out of a sector or a job or an opportunity an ally. They're not your allies. They want the status quo. They're cool with being the games they are, right? They're more interested in telling a story about, relationships or sexuality or anything else, rather than putting anything about you as a Hispanic on paper. And that's why you get to the, 25th, 26th, 27th century in these video games. And we're never around. Never. All the, we reproduce like crazy, but for some reason, we can't make it to the year 3000. Imagine that. Whether it's video games or anything else, you're going to see the same crap. Anyway, guys, that's a rant. Fake diversity in the video game industry. I hope it ends. It could end with you. You are the influence out there. I'm already out the door. I'm in my twilight years of gaming. But I hope future generations will see the light and give opportunities to all these hardworking people out there, that their only crime is being religious. Really, that's it. They're Catholic, and if you have Catholic values, you are not welcome in a lot of these places. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. Take care.